Before we begin, hit subscribe, because what you're about to hear isn't just a cold case. It's the story of a voice trapped in time, a voice recorded on a stormy night, forgotten in a wrecked car, and rediscovered 20 years later. And what that voice revealed rewrote an entire investigation. This is the highway tape. It began on a rain-soaked stretch of Highway 52 in Nebraska on March 11, 1999. The kind of night where the sky looked bruised, lightning cracked in the distance, and truckers pulled off early because the roads were too slick. At 9:14 p.m., a passing driver spotted a red Ford Taurus nose down in a drainage ditch, hazard lights faintly blinking under sheets of rain. He called it in. When state troopers arrived, they found the driver's side door open, mud splattered across the seat, windshield cracked from the inside. But no driver, no footprints leading away. Nothing but the sound of thunder rolling over the highway. The car belonged to Laura Mitchell, a 27-year-old nursing student who had been driving home after work. She'd called her sister 30 minutes earlier, laughing, talking about weekend plans. But after that, silence. Officers searched the ditch, the nearby woods, and every culvert. When dawn broke, they found only Laura's purse on the passenger seat, her ID still inside, and her shoes neatly placed near the back seat. That small detail, the shoes, made investigators uneasy. People don't take off their shoes before vanishing. There should have been signs of a struggle. Instead, it looked almost deliberate. But the strangest detail wouldn't be discovered until much later. For now, her disappearance joined the growing list of rain-night vanishings, cases in the Midwest where storms swallowed evidence before morning. For years, Laura became a face on a missing person flyer. Friends held vigils. Her family searched every lead, psychics, private investigators, truck stops. Police chased down sightings of red sedans, but nothing stuck. Then in 2005, the case froze completely. Evidence sealed, files archived. And for the next decade, the world moved on. But the truth didn't move. It waited, inside a cardboard evidence box, wrapped in a plastic bag. The first break came in 2019, 20 years later, when the Nebraska Missing Persons Review Board received grant funding to reopen select cold cases using new forensic tools. Laura's file was chosen partly because her disappearance had multiple anomalies. The shoes, the open door, the lack of prints, and something the original detectives had noted but never pursued. A damaged microcassette recorder found under the driver's seat. The recorder had been soaked in rainwater. The tape was warped and unreadable with 1999 technology, so it sat in storage for 2 decades. But in 2019, specialists from an audio lab in Colorado were asked to attempt a digital restoration. What they uncovered was a human voice, a terrified one. The tape begins with static, heavy breathing, wiper blades scraping back and forth, rain hammering the windshield. Then Laura's voice. If something happens, this is my fault for not trusting my instincts. A shaky inhale. He's been behind me since I left the hospital. The team froze the audio. They replayed it. It was clear. Laura recorded herself while driving. Then she gasped. He turned his lights off. Glass rattled, likely the rain hitting harder. He's speeding up. A horn blared in the background. Laura's breathing became more frantic. I can't see. I can't. A thud. A scream. Tires screeching. Then a second voice, low, muffled, male. The lab enhanced it. One phrase came through. Get out. Then the tape cut off. 15 seconds of audio. 15 seconds that changed everything. Detectives reopened Laura's case with a new theory. She hadn't simply crashed. She had been run off the road. The tape also revealed something hidden in 1999. A second voice. A suspect. But who? Investigators cross-referenced her social circle and discovered a detail previously overlooked. 2 days before she vanished, Laura had filed a complaint at work about a man who repeatedly followed her to her car, a maintenance contractor named Gary Dalton. When detectives reviewed his file, they discovered he had been questioned in 1999, but provided an alibi, confirmed by coworkers. Case closed on him. But in 2019, when police attempted to contact him again, they learned he died in 2011. And his co-workers from 1999? 2 were dead. 1 had dementia, and the last one admitted something explosive. We lied. We covered for him. He threatened us. We never thought it'd go this far. Suddenly, Gary Dalton wasn't just a dismissed suspect. He was now the prime one. But with him dead, the case seemed doomed. Until the lab found something else on the tape. A faint reverberation, echo patterns, suggesting the male voice wasn't inside Laura's car. It was outside, near the driver's door, which meant Laura was alive after the crash, and she was forced out. The FBI analyzed the tape further and isolated background audio, a distant train horn. That detail placed the crash within 2.5 miles of the old Hollow Railroad crossing. Detectives returned to the location and surveyed the area again. They noticed something strange. An abandoned storm drain tunnel that had been sealed in 2008, years after Laura vanished. The concrete patching didn't match the rest. When the police removed a section of the wall, the smell hit them first. Damp earth, rot, time. Inside, buried shallowly beneath debris and old trash, were human remains. Dental records confirmed it. It was her. Laura Mitchell was found 20 years after she disappeared, just 1.3 miles from where her car had crashed. But the real mystery wasn't solved yet. Alongside her remains was something else. A metal key, rusted, but identifiable as belonging to the old maintenance rooms of her former hospital workplace. And inside the pocket of her jeans, protected from moisture, was a small folded piece of notepaper with scribbled writing. "He knows my route." That note had never been found by investigators in 1999. Her final clue. Her last attempt to identify her stalker. Experts mapped the handwriting. It matched Laura's exactly. The case exploded across the country. Reporters swarmed the highway, the hospital, her family. News anchors played portions of the restored audio nationwide. People were stunned. A victim recording her own murder. A voice speaking across 20 years. But investigators still wanted definitive proof of the killer. So they dug deeper. Phone records from 1999 were analyzed with modern tools. A pager number listed at her hospital workplace was traced to a contractor assigned to multiple maintenance rooms. Rooms accessible with the same type of key found near her remains. The pager belonged to Gary Dalton. That was enough. Enough for the police to close the case. But there was one last haunting discovery. When they fully restored the tape, they found an additional 0.7 seconds of audio that had previously been marked as corrupted. In it, Laura mumbled a final word before the tape ended. A word that had confused investigators at first. But when enhanced, it became unmistakable. She whispered, "Mom." The tape ended there. Her mother, still alive in 2019, broke down when detectives played it for her. She was scared, she said, and she still thought of me. Today, Laura Mitchell's reconstructed audio, the highway tape, is used in FBI training programs for cold case analysis. Her story reshaped laws around stalking complaints after it was revealed she reported Dalton days before her murder. The new legislation allows victims to request GPS escorts when leaving hospitals late at night. People call it Laura's Law. The tunnel where her remains were found has since been filled and sealed permanently. A plaque now stands above the patch, asterisk in memory of a voice that refused to fade. 20 years of silence, broken by 15 seconds of truth. And in the end, it wasn't forensics alone that solved the case. It was her. Her tape. Her fear. Her courage. Her last attempt to make sure the world knew what happened to her. If this story shook you, subscribe, because next time, we're going inside a high school where a forgotten locker wasn't just storage, it was evidence. And what detectives found in locker number 57 solved a disappearance no one even knew was connected.